Honorable member, honorable member, before you leave, the president wants to make a commission.
All right, thank you so much, the right honorable speaker. I rise to correct the honorable member through you that apart from the elected executive, no other committee head takes monthly allowance. It is this is also given to all committee heads. So apart from the elected executive offices, non-committee head takes an allowance.
Okay, but thank you very much, because I remember, well, if my memory is certainly right, we actually saw some portion of which the electoral commissioner was. Maybe I would like to, okay, thank you very much, I'll let you go back then. But we would like you to consider, we respect your decision. Very excellency, we respect your decision as finance committee. But the business I gave you, we plead to you to look at it also. Somebody takes a document and wants to use our objective eye to scrutinize it and realize that there are some too much biases which it will raise some future controversies.
Okay, thank you, honorable member. Tempers are raising high. I want us to calm down as much as possible when we are at least making our submissions. For the sake of not being biased here, I will take just to the lady and this gentleman, then we proceed. Thank you. So the lady first.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. House, from what the financial secretary gave from his reasons and that of the vice president of the SFC, I think both are contradicting. The financial secretary is saying they can't allocate monthly allowances to the speaker and the chief justice, whereas His Excellency is also saying the previous administration can add to their budgets. So is he trying to say the next administration?
Yes, the next
administration. So please, I want to ask His Excellency if they are going to, the next administration is going to do it for the speaker and the chief justice. Are they going to do it for all the head of committees? Because the financial secretary says they can't just pinpoint specific heads of organizations and give them monthly allowance.
Thank you. Thank you, honorable member. A very quick one from you then. His Excellency will react. Then we move to the next business. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, I have to thank you. It's like today, the favor of your eyes is always locating me. Mr. Speaker, the points given by the financial secretary, in a way I would like to sign it based on the first point, because the main source of income for the SIC is driven from the dues to the fee. That also has to do with our enrollment. But I strongly disagree with the second point, because other committees, that is why I'm saying that the clerk and the president were unfair to me. They should have captured what I said on that day, so that it will be on the document. I stood here and said the president is the head of the executive committee. Constitutionally, the other committees are extension of the executive committee, because they can
a quick one.
You can start the project officer.
Noted, honorable member, noted.
Thank you.
Thank you. Please, for the sake of time, let's allow the Vice President to explain to us from what the Financial Secretary is saying, meaning that the Finance Office is not having adequate funds to push this agenda. And my Vice President is telling me that they've already made their plans. So looking at the two, it's like it's contradicting. So I want him to explain further to us if there are any other measures or any other plans to cushion the CJ and the Speaker, so that maybe the other administration will take responsibility of the allowances. But maybe since they can't be paying them monthly allowances, there is something that can be done about the issue so that we can move on. If not, we will have to take some other.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Please, you speak to the microphone for us.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I think before I continue, an honorable member said something that his name has not captured, but I realized that whenever he wants to speak, he doesn't mention his name. And I think that you are all mentioning your name in all your department. So you can start doing that. And also, concerning, he said we are doing parliamentary here, but I want to let you know that we are doing local assembly. We are not doing parliament here. We are still on our local assembly. Maybe in the next future we will do the And also, I am not saying a different thing. What I'm saying is the same thing that my financial secretary is also trying to explain to me. There is no money. The money is small. That is why the money is very, very small. That is why we are saying that maybe the next future they will continue from there. And also, we are not talking about only speaker. That the last we said speaker, chief justice, council attorney, and the PRO. That's what we said here. So I can see most of our early members want us to do something for the speaker and the council attorney, chief justice, and the PRO. The finance committee will sit down again next semester and see what we can do. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Please, if I mean to take submissions, we are not going to move. So I will plead with members that when we get to maybe other related businesses, we bring those things on board. But I would like us to put on record that I want to task the financial committee that they should get something in a form of maybe remuneration or something like that that will cater for the speaker and then the chief justice, because they also act in the absence of the vice president. The speaker takes over as the president of this institution, and in his absence, the chief justice takes over. So we don't know what may happen tomorrow, and they all do that work for us. And then the accounts have a proverb that, and I quote, and once nani the crown or percent himself. So even if the house fly has nothing at all, it robs its pounds. So I would like the financial committee to brief us in our next LA meeting on the arrangements they've made to cater for the Chief Justice and the Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Please, there's an arrangement on that. That at the end of the service...
Wait, I'm not cutting. Will it be your financial statement? What you are coming to say now, is it captured in your financial statement?
No, please.
Okay, then tell us. Thank you.
At the end of their service, they will be given a token to go home.
Yes, Russia. Okay, so thank you very much, Mr. Honorable Boniface, the finance officer. Please, those of us who are having submissions to make, please, I'm pleading with you. I'm pleading with you that you hold on when we get to other businesses, then you bring your information. So please, to the Noble House, the financial secretary have made us aware that they have ex gratia for our speaker and then the chief justice. So on this note, I would like us, on that note, I'll ask that one of us do us the favor by moving for the acceptance of the minutes, then we draw curtains down on that, then we move on. Thank you. Okay, I remember. Seconded by Honorable Member. Thank you, Honorable Member. So on this note, the minutes read by the clerk, has been moved and approved, so it becomes a true document of this house. So we move to the new business, to item 5.1. We take our presidential message. So I humbly call on our president, His Excellency Felizoko, to present to us the presidential message. Thank you.
Wow. And man, I've done a
Okay, so Mr. President, can we hear from you the presidential message? Please, let's give him audience. Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, His Excellency the Vice President, His Excellency the President, who doubles as the Deputy Unified Vice President, His Excellency Abdul Rahman Abdul Rahan, that is a rhyming name. Her Excellency the Vice President at Jumaka Campus, Her Excellency Regina Adumbo, the Council Attorney of the SRC at Jumaka Campus, Honorable Ayera Idrisu Baba, all other executives, Speaker of the Local Assembly at Jumaka Campus, the WUCOM, the Local News President of Ajumako Campus, Secretary for Ajumako Campus, all other delegates invited from Ajumako Campus. Colleague executives, Deputy Speaker, Honorable Clerks, members of Honorable House for the 2021-2022 Local Assembly, Honorable members here in presence, ladies and gentlemen, the media, which is a very important arm of government too now, other aspirants of Uew Src, who are also here to witness our local assembly, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, the journey so far has been a tough one, but with determination and a clear sense of purpose, we have persevered. I stood before you at the beginning of the semester to deliver my presidential message, and I must admit, the support so far has been very impressive. Mr. Speaker, before I start with my message, I would like the House to observe a minute's silence in prayer for the souls of students who we lost, especially students that were involved in the Asuboy accident. Please, let's rise and observe a minute's silence. May the departed souls rest in peace. Amen. Right Honorable Speaker, I wouldn't proceed without giving appreciation to the university community, the management being led by Professor Mauto Aboke, the Pro Vice Chancellor, Professor Andy Brinkrein, the Registrar, the Dean of Student Affairs, Mr. B. Bengam, the Administrator, Dr. Israel, and all staff of management, students, and all well-meaning for the University of Education, for the support they have given this administration so far. I can't also go without thanking the Finance Officer, Dr. Theophilus Akoli, for the support, and also to the Security Directorate. I'm very much appreciative for the support they have given to this administration so far. The Council will forever be indebted to them. Overview. Mr. Speaker, the 2021-2022 first semester has been one challenging year, but with perseverance and consistency coupled with hard work of colleague executives and the local assembly, we are gradually putting our SRC to where it ought to be. The semester was packed with UTAC strike, which affected our planned activities. As if that was not enough, prices of goods and services have shot astronomically, whilst our expected income reduced. We made a comment that the level 100, this group of level 100s are basically the major source of income for the SRC, as they pay higher SRC dues than all other levels. In our estimation, of which the university also estimated, because as at the time we were drawing the budget, even admission was ongoing. The university had estimated some 11,000 level 100s, but at the end, about 800 that got admission or honored the admission into the university. 8,000, sorry. The council was again hit with some bad news while there was some good news. To sum it up, this was a semester to remember, especially if we were to be in my shoes. Issues on portal and course registration. The SRC have been up and doing on issues relating to ITS student portal. The SRC took a bold step by writing to stop all students from registering for receipt and supplementary exams until all results for the previous semesters were provided. This action sought a very swift response from management meeting between the SRC executives, other stakeholders that matter in addressing the issue. The Vice Chancellor, Professor Moto Aboke, formed an 8-member committee of which I was included. The committee has sent its recommendation to the VC for onward implementation, and hence I will urge all students to remain calm as we are on a good course. Mr. Speaker, this year's course registration has been overly successful, and it gives me some sense of performance since over 95% of students have been able to register for their courses. This happened as a result of the effort of the SRC Executives Committee, and I must recommend them for that. I recall the number of times I had to plead in offices to allow students who have made part payment of their fees to register. And this saw to the realization that students who have made 50% payment or more were given privilege to register. This went on, and I believe honorable members are privy to the number of times the registration portal was open for students to get registered and even correct wrong courses. I want to also place on record that some of these things were engineered by the SRC, and at a point we had to even cushion the officers that came to do the registration in some way. I will seize this opportunity to commend management, especially the SRO and the Finance Center headed by Dr. Uew Src, for they have been extremely helpful in this regard. Mr. Speaker, permit me to say the SRC Academic Committee has done a yeoman's job as far as the subject under discussion is concerned. Although I am all fulfilled, I believe a lot needs to be done. Welfare of students. The welfare of students has been one thing the President-led administration has never relented on. Starting from the unfortunate accident which happened at Asubwe, which saw the dismiss and injury of some of our students, the SRC, with the help of management, conveyed the affected students from the Suhum Government Hospital to Winneba. After which, those who were not fit were sent to the university clinic for a checkup. Counseling services were given by the university community for these affected students immediately after the accident. The SRC, through the welfare committee, then donated some groceries to them for their upkeep. The SRC again facilitated for management to donate some 500 Ghana cedis each to the survivors of the accident. The SRC further attended the funeral ceremonies of the departed souls and made donations to these families of the deceased students. Management and other departments were in attendance and also made donations. Mr. Speaker, surface to that was a donation made to physically challenged students of special education department, where a wheelchair had been provided to him to alleviate the suffering he is going through by walking from uni hall to lecture hall always. Mr. Speaker, numerous activities have been undertaken for the welfare of students under the SRC. has been made. Mr. Speaker, numerous activities have been undertaken for the welfare of students under the SRC, and donations have been made several to departments and other associations. A tip of it was the donation to the Ghana Muslim Student Association, Uew, during the Ramadan. And the latest of it is the support the SRC gives to students who apply for support to undertake diverse activities like paying school fees, hospital bills, hostel fees, etc. I believe that the SRC is on track with student welfare and seeks to do more, since the SRC is all about the students' welfare. Projects. Mr. Speaker, some projects have been undertaken which need to be brought to bear before the Honorable House. Before that, I would like to make the House be in the know as far as the reconstruction of the pool as stated in the budget is concerned. The Council, as at the time of drawing the budget, had contacted the physical development for the estimate of the pool, but the estimate was not done yet, and hence, before local assembly, an estimated amount was put before the budget of the abandoned pool. Mr. Speaker, quite recently, when the estimate was ready, I walked to the office, and it will amaze you to hear that the amount we estimated, that is 200,000 Ghana cedis, were way below the bet, as they were projecting some 740 Ghana cedis for the construction. $740, some 7.4 billion Ghana cedis. When we had budgeted for 2 billion and we were getting some insult for that. So we decided to take a second look at that. I am sure in our next early meeting, a roadmap would have been drawn for the way forward. The Council has been able to furnish the offices, and I would like to take this again. On assumption of office, we realized that there was no single laptop in the SRC office, no single desktop in the SRC office. The only thing we inherited was minutes of meetings. But as we speak now, Honorable House, Mr. Speaker, the SRC has purchased 4 desktops for the offices, 4 laptops, of which I'm using one now. Gadgets, which all have been labeled in the name of the SRC. So now every gadget of the SRC have been labeled. So you can see this. I believe this will go a good way to keeping the assets of the Council without allowing anybody to make away with them. And that is something that the SRC is suffering, and we would like to set the foundation for the next administration to also follow. Mr. Speaker, the Council always will go out to hire digital camera for its activities. It will interest the House to know that this Council, again, has bought a 6D digital camera for the media team to avoid paying monies for hiring from other outfits. I think we deserve some commendation for that. The SRC cloth is still under distribution, and I must give credit for the previous administration. They spearheaded the purchasing of the SRC cloth, but we had to come and make additional payment because we were not able to make all full payment. But they deserve some commendation for doing it, and I only take the credit of the previous administration. It's still under distribution, which most of students have received, and in due course, those who did not take DS would receive. The license system in all the SRC summer hats, which were faulty, have been repaired. Those who didn't have light, the license system has been provided, and those whose bulbs were off had been replaced. For a very long while too, all sockets at the summer hat has been fixed. Over the years, we only faced the light without facing the socket, but this time we went ahead to face all sockets at the summer hat. Mr. Speaker, it was and has always been the dream of the First Don College administration to construct realizations to steady benches to create more spaces for realization on campus and also for students to sit on and to have some group discussions. Just about last week, approval was given, and I can assure you that by the time school is in session next semester, you see work ongoing. On security, I have engaged management on several occasions, and they have assured us of providing street light at all dark places on campus by the time school resumes. They have also assured us of the construction of footbridges routes students take on campuses. The footbridges that leads to campuses, we realized that during the rain season, most of them were faulty. So I asked the project committee to go around to have an estimate. When they were done with the estimate, it was almost $500,000. So I saw that since LA had not budgeted for that, it would be very difficult to get that lump sum to undergo that project. So I wrote to management for assistance, and management had agreed to support us, and you follow up until they provide these footbridges. People's Aquaba. Mr. Speaker, the People's Aquaba Week celebration is one of the most widely celebrated events on campus for the past years. Due to COVID-19 and other pertinent reasons, such programs were on hold for quite some time. The council saw the need to rekindle the spirit of entertainment in the university, and how tested the students were manifested in the activities of the SRC Aquaba, especially on the artist night. Mr. Speaker, every success comes with challenges. The People's Aquaba celebration, although successful, has some challenges which have been well managed, and the experience gathered will be considered in future events. Mr. Speaker, transportation has been a major concern in my administration. The SRC saw the need to arrange with a transport company to deliver their service on campus at a relatively cheaper price. Mr. Speaker, we are all aware of the astronomical increase in price of petroleum products, such as petrol and diesel, and the accompanying surge in transport fare. The SRC, in seeking the welfare of students, negotiated for the bus operators to freely move on campus without charging a penny from the SRC. The ultimate aim of the SRC is to give comfort to students, but not get money from these bus organizers. So these bus organizers are operating on campus at a lower price, whilst the SRC is taking nothing from them because we want the price to remain as it is. And this is how come members of the local assembly are also now enjoying field drive, and students living with disability or special needs students are also getting free ride whenever they board this shuttle system. The only challenge is that we had negotiated for 3, but patronization of the buses were down, and as a profit-making company, they had to sell some of the buses away. So I will encourage students to patronize these buses, and more will be brought on campus for them to get access to them. Mr. Speaker, this resulted in charging 2 cedis from South to North Campus, and 1 cedi from North Campus to entrance and to University Hall, and 2 cedis from Central to North Campus, and 1 cedi from South. You know, let me tell you. Yes, don't judge a book by its cover. Yes, I'm a sprinter, 100 meters runner. But due to one reason or the other, I think the ladies know something about this too. Mr. Speaker, I'll be shooting myself in the foot if sports have not been patronized in my administration. The council had held the freshers' games, which featured all the traditional halls in this competition. The fresh students had a chance to exhibit their talent and, in fact, entertain the whole university, especially because it was during the Utah strike. Mr. Speaker, this did not end there. The SRC supported the students in the annual athletic competition, which also saw numerous students exhibiting their talent, and the euphoria was what we all saw during the event. Mr. Speaker, this event served as a training preparation grounds for the participants. Mr. Speaker, it is worthy to know that the SRC supported students to partake in the National Annual Athletic Games held in Kumasi at the Baba Yara Sports Stadium. This served as grooming grounds and prepared our students for the All-African University Games held in Kenya. Mr. Speaker, I speak as a more fulfilled and happy person because the constant support and investment in sport under my leadership has been overly justified by the performance of our hardworking students in the All-African University Games. Mr. Speaker, the SRC supported the representatives sent to Kenya in cash and in kind, and their efforts saw to UW placing third among the over 45 competing universities across the continent. Let's give them some shout. UW placed first in West Africa and obviously first in Ghana. Mr. Speaker, I would like to seize this opportunity to commend the Sports and Games Secretary, Mr. Daniel Bonsu. Mr. Daniel Bonsu, please let's give him a shout. And his team for the great feats. Also, I thank the UW management for their immense support and how can I forget the Hypers department, both staff and students. The SRC celebrates you. Mr. Speaker, going forward, much effort will be put into sporting sector to produce more products from the university. Capacity building. Mr. Speaker, human development is key in the building or makeup of every institution. Upon assuming office as the SRC president, several programs have been held to orient, sensitize, and develop human resources. Notable among them include the maiden orientation for members of the local assembly, a recap capacity building program that have equipped honorable members in the discharge of their duties, spearheaded by the Speaker, Right Honorable Faxon Crispin Kumbucha. The maiden orientation and sensitization program was held for all departmental, association PROs, student bloggers, and student journalists. This program has helped in the management of information on campus. I am convinced the resource persons have been very impactful, led by the PRO, Honorable Shadrach Appiah. The Maiden Secretaries Connect, a capacity building program that featured all secretaries in our various departments and associations, and has also helped equip participants in the discharge of their duties, also fronted by the Secretary, Honorable Sandra Okuya. Last of its kind was held for various Chief Justices and Council Attorneys. Mr. Speaker, this has also gone a long way to equip our justice delivery system on campus. This also was headed by His Lordship, Raouf Abdul. Mr. Speaker, various sectors of the SRC have worked, and if you have noticed, you would have realized that all such capacity building programs stated above are maiden, and this administration needs some commendation for that. I'm grateful to the head of such sectors. The following semester will see more of its kinds. Documentation. Mr. Speaker, my coming here to me would have been fruitless if I don't decide to touch on this very important point. Mr. Speaker, it is sad to tell the Honorable House that the SRC had virtually no documents from previous administration to serve as a guide to subsequent administration. It baffles my mind how correspondences with other institutions and the student body was being done. Mr. Speaker, this has left the Council with no institutional memory, and this is quite unfortunate. As a key advocate of documents and paperwork, Mr. Speaker, I have instilled the spirit of documentation in all the SRC executives. Proper reference system has been adopted to set standard for the next administration. Mr. Speaker, this will serve as a guide to leaders who take over and would not have to necessarily call every second to ask about how things are done or should be done. Never again in UW. Relationship with mother unions. Mr. Speaker, in cementing our relationship with other mother unions, the SRC attended all national meetings and expected of us. The first of such meeting was the new CC head in Tamale. The UW-SRC participated fully, after which the News Congress also saw UW participating fully in the Congress and its activities. It was not surprising that I was chosen to moderate the presidential debate for the 54th News Congress. Mr. Speaker, it didn't end there. SRC has also participated in Uew Src Senate Conference held in Uew. This arrangement, as earlier stated, helped the SRC in fostering a better relationship with our mother bodies and other universities. Mr. Speaker, a true manifestation is when I was appointed as a member of the Uew Src Vetting Committee. And if you did not know, let me be the first to tell you that UW will be hosting the pending Uew Src Congress. Challenges. Mr. Speaker, amidst the almost smooth administration, there are some setbacks, and I would like to make that known as well as known to the Honorable House. To start with, Mr. Speaker, you can all bear witness to the ridiculous increase in prices of commodities in today's market. This has somehow paralyzed our budget such that amount quoted in budget upon reaching the market becomes a joke. Moreover, Mr. Speaker, as students as we are, every administration is run by the dues paid by students, and we can all attest to the fact that most of our colleagues paid their fees just some weeks ago in the heat of the late registration, and others also pay in half. And by the calculation of the dues, unless students make full payment, the allocation of the SRC is not given. So if about 60% of students had paid half, that means we have not received dues for 60% of the students. But that notwithstanding, we still push for students to be registered because the SRC is not about making money, but about the welfare of students. Moreover, Mr. Speaker, as students as well, every administration is run by the dues paid by students, and we can all attest to the fact that most of our colleagues paid their dues just some weeks ago in the heat of the late registration. This made us handicapped in some aspect. At a point, there was no money in the coffers of the SRC after undertaking a few projects and supporting few in some instances, such as the Asubwe incident victim. Also worthy of noting, Mr. Speaker, is the challenge of transportation. Movement in and around campus in the delivery of our duties as executive officers becomes very challenging and headache because the SRC has no transport system to transport officers around for their official duties. Mr. Speaker, I wouldn't like to bother the House as I have already spoken a lot. In the coming semester, the Council will present to the House 8 activities for the House to consider in the early weeks of the semester during our first early meeting in the second semester. Long live UW SRC, long live UW, long live Ghana. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President, His Excellency, Felix Donko, for this presidential message. I think we are pleased and happy to hear a lot of things being done and others still in the pipeline. The future is bright. Thank you. So without